Hello. It's a bit windy. Hope you can hear me all right. I thought I'd pick up my camera, well, my telephone, and just start chatting to you, because I've been doing that thing where it's all going around in my head and I'm having conversations that I'm pretending I'm recording. And I figured I don't have to sit down and do a proper podcast. I don't have to vlog by starting the second I wake up. I can just chuck a few bits together and see how it goes, and you guys don't mind because, well, you just don't, because you're fabulous. Yeah, I've much swimming about in my head, and I've got some knitting to share, and I've been doing a lot of gardening and decorating, and I don't really know where to start with any of it, so I figured I'd just get rambling. I'll take you through the day. I'm forest bathing. Apparently that's what they call it. I love it when I come across things like this where you can see that kids have been building pretend fires and making dens and stuff like that. I love it. I'm feeling very virtuous. I managed to get all of my ironing done today, and I didn't think I would because I thought it was going to get too hot. I got up this morning and I've done some painting. I've got a plant stand that I've painted, and I was going to paint the gate. I painted, it's a replacement gate. The old gate was painted a dark grey, and the side bits that the gate connects to still grey. They needed just touching up. But come on, bud, come on, because they were peeling a bit. So I started to paint those, and then I thought, I don't know if I actually want the gate painted grey. It looks rather nice left as wood, so I've just left it as wood for now. I wanted to get those things done this morning before it got too hot, because the forecast is that too windy? The forecast has been really warm. I'm just going to have to check to see if this is too windy. I don't think it's ideal, so I'm going to finish what I'm saying and then record again a bit later on. I should go back to listening to L.M. Montgomery stories. It's an Audible one called After All These Years, and it's just short stories. I love them. I wanted to get everything hot done before it got too hot today. So outdoors painting and the ironing. Actually, it's not too hot. It's really nice. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, scruff bag. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll be back later. I'm further along now and it doesn't seem so windy, but I'm walking past some kennels and I can hear the dogs barking. Okay, so where to start? So you've probably gathered from the title that I'm probably going to use for this video is that lately I had to say a final farewell. We all have to say final farewells throughout our lives. Sometimes it's to work, sometimes it's, a friendship that's gone sour. And sometimes it's just natural causes. Don't know why I'm struggling to say this. My grandmother died, and whilst I'm not, I am sad. I shall miss her. But she was nearly 92, and the grief of losing somebody who was ready to go, very much ready to go, and who had not suffered for very long, it's a different feeling to the crippling, devastating grief that I felt when Kate died. Oh goodness, that's going to be 5 years ago this Christmas, and it feels so fresh still. Very painful. It's so beautiful here, honestly. There's little alpine strawberries everywhere. Little alpine strawberries everywhere. See if I can find some for you. So my grandmother, Nanny Sheila, has been gone 3 weeks today. There's a runner coming. I still feel a bit awky filming in public, but really I should just pretend I'm on the phone to someone, shouldn't I? Yeah, so my grandmother died 3 weeks ago, tonight at 9:15. And I know this could be a bit upsetting for others. I want to talk about it and place some memories here. And I'm just giving you fair warning so you can skip forward. Can't see any alpine strawberries yet. So, several weeks ago now, 10 weeks ago, my dad rang and said, Nanny is really, really poorly, and we're taking her into hospital. And it turned out she had double pneumonia. And I FaceTimed with Nan, and she just looked so poorly. She had double pneumonia, so they treated her for that. But they did all sorts of other investigations, and they found that she was peppered with cancer. And they said there was nothing they could do. And she was very pleased about that. She said, I don't want you fiddling about with me. I'm ready to go. So, all my arms aching. This is rubbish. She was in quite good spirits, really, about the fact that she was dying. I said to her, Nanny, are you scared? And she said, oh, no, I'm not scared. I'm going to see my girls. Which, can't explain how I felt. I felt heartbroken and heart-warmed. Van coming now. Come on. Her youngest daughter, my Aunt Caroline, died on her 20th birthday. She was born at, 1 something or another in the morning on the 28th of December, and she died at 1 something or another in the morning on the 28th of December from a car accident, drunk driver. So she'd lived through that pain. And then my other aunt, Dawn, when I was 21 and she was only younger than I am now, 42 I think, she had severe mental illness and she hanged herself. And my grandmother found her, discovered her, and blamed herself. I marvel at the strength and resilience that my grandmother showed as she lived her life. There are a lot of things, other things that I could tell you, but I can't, because it's not that it's secretive or private, it's just this is not the place to talk about it. I could write a novel, but do you know what? If I wrote a plot line of her story, critics would say it was far-fetched and unrealistic, but just believe me. She used to say, oh, we don't go far, but we do see life. And that was so the truth. We got Nanny home from hospital. Got Nanny home from hospital and resolved as a family that we would take care of her and keep her home. So we started to take it in turns doing night shifts. By the time we got her home, my dad got her home, she didn't have many nights at home. But so my mum, oh, here's another thing with my grandmother. My dad and my uncle both got divorced, and my grandmother remained really good friends with their ex-wives. So my mum, one of them, to the degree... What are you eating? Oh, what have you eaten? You're going to have a bad tummy. I don't know what Bunny's just eaten, but she's probably going to have a really bad tummy. My mum and my nan remained great friends. On the Monday night before my nan passed away, my mum did that night shift and stayed with her and looked after her. She was just beginning to get a bit rambly and unable to swallow her medication. And then I had her on Tuesday night, and I think I had the last of the best of her, actually. It was very sweet, very sweet. At one point she said something that encouraged me to... I can't remember what she said, annoyingly, but I got out of my chair and I got her face in my hands and I said, "It's me, Nanny. It's me. It's Gaynor." And she went, "Oh." And I said, "I love you." And she said, "Do you?" "No." I thought, that's a funny response. And then about 40 minutes later, she tried to sit up and she looked at me. She went, "Some ladies just told me she loves me." And I said, "Oh, that was me, Nanny." "Oh, Gaynor, that makes sense." She goes, bless her. And then she was chatting and rambling, and she kept going, "Kevin," that's her son, my uncle, "do you want a coffee?" And then she would go, "Peter," that's my dad, "you've got to get a blanket. If you're going out on that boat to have your lunch, you've got to get a blanket." Oh, my arm's aching. I'm back home now. I'm in my bedroom. There's a pile of washing to sort out there. And you can see that we decorated in here. No longer have we got that bright turquoise with gold printed wallpaper on there, which had been up for quite a long time, and it was beginning to peel, and it was time for a change. I can hear Wilfred. Oh no, it's Bill. Yeah?
I'm trying to update my laptop, like shut down.
Ooh, he's in a bad mood. He's being very difficult. Don't know where I was now. Oh, I know. I was talking about the Tuesday night before she passed away. I just stayed awake with her. I just cherished every moment. Every moment. You see, the thing is that I was really great mates with my nan, and I admired her greatly. She had an incredible attitude to life, a very strong person, not judgmental at all, which was completely demonstrated by how, when my dad's marriage broke up and my mum and dad's marriage broke up and my aunt and uncle's marriages broke up and all of the things that were going on, she didn't take sides, didn't judge, and and remained very neutral but supportive and understanding. And really, for a woman of her generation, I just think that was, maybe it's not unusual, but I was grateful for that. But my nan was not a very present grandmother for me when I was a child. And I know not all grandparents are. For many grandparents, being a grandparent isn't what they expected, and so they don't enjoy it particularly. I had 2 grandparents on my mum's side who worshipped me and idolised me and spoilt me rotten. They used to say, how can you spoil something that's already ruined? And they were just extremely precious to me. And I loved them dearly. Now, my nanny Sheila, whilst I know that she really loved me and she was very proud of me, I know that. And as an adult, we were great mates. But I have no memories of her ever reading me a story or taking me out or me sitting on her lap, having a cuddle. I've nothing from my childhood, no memories. She just, I guess I was the 4th grandchild to come along. She'd been a mum quite late in life. She'd had 4 children and they were spread out. And so when I came along, her youngest was only 11. And she'd already got grandchildren. So she just wasn't the kind of grandmother that I never had that relationship with her. And so having that Tuesday night with her, why am I crying? It's ridiculous. I think having that Tuesday night with her gave me something that I'd always yearned for. I'm just going to compose myself because I'm being a moron. Okay, guys. I drone on and on and on. And very maudlin and gloomy. And I get a bit weepy. So if you don't want to watch that, and I don't think I'd want to watch that. I just, this is partly my journal, my diary, family memories. The whole reason why I started my podcast and my vlog was for very personal reasons more than a public service. Hi, bunny. So skip forward until you see this background. Whoops, again. Came over all funny. Yeah, so it was just really lovely to have that time with her. And I said to her, I said, Nan, we're having a girls' night. And she said, oh, are we? How lovely. And I put Coronation Street on the iPlayer. And it was just really lovely. We'd got a Marie Curie nighttime attendant because of the pain that she was in. We needed to be able to, we just needed assistance so that we could get hold of more powerful drugs. Anyway, the night assistant was just lovely. And she and I were having a bit of a giggle about some of the things Nan was saying because she was so amusing, bless her. She did have a very good sense of humour, my Nan. And but she was lovely, the Marie Curie girl. She gave us space, and it was precious. When my uncle walked in the morning, so my dad and my uncle came in the morning, and the first thing my uncle said was, oh, your hair's greasy. I was like, cheeky thing, I've been up all night. He said, have you been awake all night? Of course I've been awake all night. I didn't want her to, at any moment, not be attended to. If she had that second of lucidity, I was going to be there. And I was, and I'm glad of that. That day she deteriorated massively and went into a coma. And then Wednesday morning, my dad messaged and said she's in her last moments. It was about 7:30. So I thought, well, there's no point me jumping in the car and driving an hour to get to her. She'll be gone by the time I get there. And then 10 o'clock came and I messaged and he said, no change. She's slipping away. So I didn't get in the car. Anyway, it got to about 6 o'clock in the evening and I thought, she's done 15 hours of this last moments thing. I'll just give my dad a ring, see what's going on for the evening. So I rang him and he was so tired, and my uncle. They've both got problems with their brains. I'll tell you my dad's story another day. It's complicated, and he's like one of very, very few who have had this type of illness in the way that it's kind of manifested. Can you hear Bill? He's having a bad time. Oh dear. Oh, I don't know if I've got the patience today to handle him. Oh dear.
Mum.
What?
Mum, there's a bee practically dead. We need to get sugar water. And Bill just gave me a really bad headache, like worse. He screamed in my ear.
Okay. Let's see if Bill will help us with the bee. Right. The bee is hopefully going to live. Do you know what? I say I'm not upset that my nan's died. I'm not upset, but I am sad. Yeah, I am. I am really sad. My nan she's who I get my hands from. I've got my dad's hands. My dad has his mum's hands. She had her dad's hands. And we just loved putting our hands together and seeing that they're all the same hand. Obviously, my dad's are bigger and my nan's were older, but oh, she's beautiful hands. And I think my eye colour comes from her. I just physically resemble her side of the family. I've just realised I was sort of telling a story that was following a timeline, and then I ran off to feed the bee and I've come back and started rambling about something entirely different. So I was saying that it got to about 6 o'clock and I rang my dad and I said, what is going on? And he said, no change. But he and my uncle and my stepmom Mags, who had been around throughout, they were just absolutely shattered. My dad had spent many nights with her, looking after her, nursing her, which is just not something. It's just the fact that he did it. All respect to him, because I don't think the man had ever changed a nappy in his life. And he was properly caring for my nan, and was just so tender with her, which my uncle was as well. And actually to see the pair of them and the way that they were with her was just really heartwarming, because I think of, what's the matter with me? I find it very moving seeing how tender my dad and my uncle were with her, especially being a mum of boys myself. Yeah, it was really, really special. So I rang up and said, what's going on? They said they were really tired and were going to have to head home, get something to eat, have a shower. But they had another Marie Curie night sitter coming. And I said, well, I'm going to come then, because I know she's been in these last moments for 15 hours, but she could go at any minute. And I just wouldn't feel comfortable if one of us wasn't there. So I threw some things in a bag, jumped in the car, and I drove straight there. And it was lovely. We were sat around. All of us were sat around, and there wasn't a chair for me, so I just sat on the end of the bed with my nan's feet. I just perched there and like put my feet under myself and sat there, and it was lovely because I was able to just, I wasn't holding her hand, and my dad and my uncle had her hands, but I was able to just, I had her feet. And we were laughing and reminiscing and just remembering things and talking to my nan and talking to each other, and we had a glass of wine. We all love a glass of wine. And it was just really very, very sweet. And I said to them, look, if you guys want to go, then I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. You can go. And there was a part of me that kind of so selfish. I wanted it all to myself. Yeah, I wanted it all to myself. So I was kind of encouraging them to go. But Dad said, well, her heartbeat's changed. He was holding her hand, and he's got such big hands, he could feel her. He was holding her hand, but he could feel her pulse in her wrist. He said, her pulse has changed. She's going. And she'd been doing this sort of breathing. Bless her. She'd got one eye shut and one eye open, and her mouth was like that. And anyway, she did. She just, something changed, and she started to leave us. So we were all saying our goodbyes, and then she took what we thought was her last breath, and bearing in mind she'd had several that could have been her last breath, but we were all like, oh no, we don't feel that's her last one. So she took what seemed to be absolutely her last breath, and my dad said, I love you, Mum, and my uncle said, bye, Mum. And Mag said, thank you for letting me into your life. And I was about to say, thank you for being my nan or something, and she suddenly went, she did another breath, and we all leapt out of our skins, literally like, woo, really jumped. And then nervous, hysterical laughter, and we were really properly laughing and giggling, and that was her last breath. She went out hearing the people that love her just laughing, which I think was a really nice way to go. So then, to cut a long story short, everybody went home. I stayed. The nurses came out at 1 o'clock in the morning to verify that she was definitely dead. And they left, and I tucked her up in bed, and I went and tucked myself up in bed and went to sleep. Had a horrible nightmare, an absolutely awful nightmare involving the children. So I didn't stay asleep for very long. And then in the morning I got up and had a shower. I went in to see my nan, and she had a few whiskers. I get my whiskers from my nan. We got prickly chins. And I thought, she is not going to want to go off not being well presented. So I sorted out, tidied up her whiskers, straightened out her eyebrows. You see, no matter what was going on with my nan, she always had her nails painted and her eyebrows put on, and she was a very well turned out, well presented and glamorous lady. Mags, it was a wasp just come in. Mags had painted her nails, so they looked pretty, so I just tidied up her chin. And she's not having a funeral, we're having a memorial party. She didn't want to waste the money on an actual funeral, although she
she had faith and she believed in heaven. She believed she was going to heaven and that she was going to be with her girls. So, we're going to have a big party when we can. Well, I say big. We're going to have a family gathering, a celebration of her life within the COVID restrictions, and give her a good send-off. Don't attack me. Yeah, she just clawed my head. She bullies me. I've come here for a nice coffee. Taking the boys to the park in a second. Yes, I am. And then when I get back, I need to cook supper, cook a Dundee cake, and deadhead some roses. Oh, I wish I'd recorded the maudlin bit in here because I look so much nicer in here. It brings out the pink in my eyes. It's a wonder I ever get anything done. You're a twit. You're a big old banana. What's happened to your lip? Your lip's all curled up. Soft, aren't you? You soppy dog. We've had her nearly 2 years. Yes, and Margot, we've had you about 7. You're a psycho. Margot's got hay fever. Poor thing. I brought the boys to the park. Well, not Ted, he's down the farm, but Bill and Wilf. And I'm not cool enough to be seen with, so I'm in the car. I'm just going to put a couple of pictures in here now because I don't really know where else to put them, but I want them on my podcast, on my vlog. When I went to visit my nan in hospital, when they were treating her before Dad got everything set up for her to be cared for at home, she was doing really well, and I turned up and she said to me, do I look presentable? I said, yes, you do. You look beautiful as always. And she said, let's have a selfie. So here we are. Here's some selfies of me and my nan, and she'd look at one and she'd say, no, I look awful. And then she'd look at the other one, she'd go, no, you look awful, you look simple. That helmet is not done up. Have you been cycling like that? Just had a conversation about cycling helmet safety. And also, I'm going to have to go and push him on the swings because there's some bigger kids in the park. And they keep booting him off everything. We are back from the park and just taken Toby to pick up his car, and the garden's looking lovely, so I'm going to show you around. Don't look at that bit there. I've cut it all back and it will go through about 2 weeks of looking really rubbish. But look, everything is gorgeous. I've got a little microphone on, so hopefully the wind won't be a bother. This Hebe's about to burst into lovely flower. And I've got a very nice dandelion in there. Do you know what? I know everyone raves about Sarah Raven, and she does do some good stuff, but I bought these little plug plants months ago, planted them up, and they're not doing anything. And they're supposed to tumble and spill, and I've been taking care of them. The lavender is, just divine. And, that's me, hello. But this is Sarah Raven. Jules gave me this for my birthday.
And it's doing so well. Look, all these little flower heads that are coming along. And I've potted up my plants here so it's got a bit dry. Everything is beginning to be very pretty. These roses, this is ballerina, they're puffing up. The lavender's beginning to go over on these plants actually. Look at that. It's incredible. The size of it. Blows my mind every year. Can't explain how big it is. Look, that's my foot. This little planter makes my heart skip a beat. Let's take you over to the new border, which has greened up a beauty. It really has. It's done very well. I love these. Oh, look at them. Need to pick my sweet peas again. I've got quite a few on there. Had to protect some plants from the rabbits. I think these are China asters from seed that Cherie gave me. And these are straw flowers, definitely from seeds that Cherie gave me. When I say Cherie, I mean Ollie and Bella Cherie, and I just assume everybody knows. This is a plant that I got from Ted's school. They sell plants. These are seeds that I took from Granny's cornflowers from last year. This has all gone a bit over the top here. Look at this, I love that. That was a cutting from years ago. Some more cerinthy here. Well, it's very windy, so it's going to be a very good test for my little microphone. This is still flowering its heart out. This is Albrighton Rambler. Oh, it's a spider. My climbing things that are supposed to profusely climb haven't climbed. Hello, you beautiful thing. Hello, you beautiful thing. One of you is going to be a cafe au lait, maybe you. So here's a new thing. Had a little fence put up that I'm halfway through painting. I've run out of paint now. And an arbour. And we had to take up some stones here. This was, I don't know what this was. It was like a little weird patio thing. But it was all topsy-turvy because of, you can see a tree stump there, it got honey fungus. The roots had lifted it, and then there was loads of lemon balm, there's a bit there, growing all up through it. So I've just planted this up with some plants I had, fingers crossed for them. But I'm very happy with my little picket fence. I'll be even happier when I finish painting it. And my little arbour. Oh, I love it so much. Happy, happy. Now, I can't remember if I recorded these or not, but this is some bay trees that we had about, I don't even know how long ago. And they got diseased. They got this stuff on them. Let's get rid of you. Don't need you on there. And so I pruned it. Oh, I absolutely decimated it. Franca was laughing at me. I had them in the paddock while she was sat there, and I was hacking them, and I kept sitting down and then seeing more I could hack off. And yeah, I'm very, very pleased to say that they are very much recovering. Look, you can see there. Can I get my... Look, that's a new little bud. And this one's doing not as well, but it was in a worse condition. I painted that just now, so that's good. Phil the builder got a lathe and he's made me some of these, and I've put screws in the bottom so that I can, you know, prop them up, but they don't want to stay up. I need to get longer screws. Got some salad to pick. We're having that tonight. Welsh rarebit for dins tonight. My dwarf climbing French beans have got going. So have my runner beans, but everything's so delayed. And I've got a lot of, my roses have all got rust and black spot. It's not been a good, oh, you're lovely. It's not been good for them. All this wet and cold. My sweet corn's doing all right. Now, for somebody who is terrified of bright colours, you lot will be proud of me. Look at my companion planting. Don't get much brighter than that, do you? Why have my onions flopped? Is it because they're ready to pick? I thought you had to wait for the flowers to come. I'm going to have to look that up. My wizard field beans are coming along. I'm picking more mange tout than we can eat. I've got this purple mange tout. Julie gave me it for my, hello darling, for my part of my Christmas present. She gave me some really cool seeds. My chamomile is doing really well. Ali, Little Drops, her chamomile didn't come up this year, so I said don't worry, I've got plenty for both of us. So I'm picking the flowers. Look at that sweet corn. I didn't know where to put him, so I just put him there. I've got some blueberries. Let me get in the shade. Blueberries ripening here. It's exciting, isn't it? There's a weed. Where are you, weed? Go away, weed. Some strawberries. The mice keep eating the strawberries. Some calendulas there. More nasturtiums here. I've got my lettuces, my baby gems that my stepmum gave me bolted. Turnip greens, I've let these go to seed so I can collect seed for next year. Spuds are doing okay. My wildflower meadow was wonderful. Full of poppies. Look, my willow screens puffing up now. But it's just beginning to go over, but I think there's more things coming up. I'll pop a video in of how it did look. We've been knitting in bed, haven't we, Poggy?
Yes, we have. We've been knitting in bed and cuddling, and it's quite warm. So I'm all stretched out as long as I can go. I'm so long. Look at my little back legs and my little tail. You're the cutest little poodle. Aww. Poor old hay fever face.
Here is my girlfriend's cardigan by Ankestrick. I do not know what's going on there. I have to repair that. And I've
discovered as I've gone along several dropped stitches. Oh, they must be on the other side. I'm at the point now where I've done one sleeve. Oh look, there's a drop stitch. I've caught it with a safety pin. I've done one sleeve and I didn't do any of the decreases because I thought, no, let's just have a nice straight sleeve. Well, it looks all right, but not as good as the tapered sleeve. So I've done this one tapered. You can see where I've done all my decreases. Now this, you're supposed to knit it in the round, which is what I did here, which knitting garter stitch in the round is not my favourite. You have to, obviously you knit a row and then the next row, because you're going round and round, you have to purl it. And with this yarn, it was just, taking a long time. So I decided to cast on a few extra stitches and knit this flat. And it's sped along. It was definitely, for me, a better way of doing it. So, I'm going to try this on in a bit. I'm at the cast off point now. I'm going to try it on in a bit and compare the two. And I think then I'll frog this sleeve, knit it with the decreases, and sew in the ends and call it a day. I rather like how the pockets are stockinette inside. I didn't really understand the instructions. They weren't that clear for how to do this pockety bit. So one side definitely looks better than the other. But, you know, who's going to look closely at these things? And I think most of any issues will block out quite well. Look, I love it. Actually feel like I've put the pockets in too low because I've got the length of the cardigan how I want it, but the pocket isn't deep enough and I wanted it to be able to slip my phone in, but it then drags it down to below the hem. But it doesn't matter. It's probably going to be worn as a bit of a dressing gown cardigan. Can you hear those flies? It was Toby's birthday on Sunday and I knitted him some socks. This is just a vanilla sock. I cast on, he's got quite small feet really, I cast on 64 stitches and I just knitted, and then I did Jules beanie toe, the top down beanie toe. No, I didn't. I did toe up beanie toe. And then when I cut in the heel, I used Jules top down beanie toe pattern as the heel, and I did 6 rows of plain before I put the heel in. Now they look weird here like this, but they are nice. They do fit. They fit well. I'll pop them on my feet and show you in a moment. The yarn I got from Emma, Eldenwood Crafts D-Stash. Don't they go nicely with the girlfriend's cardigan? I can't find the ball band for these. And this is Juniper Moon Herriot Fine lace in Silver Birch, which you'd be hard pressed to find now. Here's the socks on. Look, I matched up the toes. Everything was going well until the yarn did something completely different, and it's not done that anywhere else in the skein, but that's fine. I don't mind. They look cool anyway, don't they? And they're a bit big for me because Toby's got bigger feet than I have. But you can see that the heel the toe as a heel works very well. Oh, I'm such a good girl. Here is the ball band. Hot Socks Cuba. There we are. Colour number 5. And that's what my girlfriend's cardigan is knitted in. Okay, the colour name is not on here, but I'm sure it's Silver Birch. There. Okay, I'm going to sign off this vlog now because I need to whip Teddy's room into shape. We've got Toby's parents, sister and boyfriend coming today. Toby's mum and dad have been married 50 years tomorrow. So we're just having a little family gathering. Just the 9 of us. I had to do a quick tot up then, plus 3 dogs. Yeah, so I've got boring chores to do, but I'm resolved to not complain about chores because my chores are nothing in comparison to the chores that my friend Kerry is having to deal with today. Kerry is Teddy's godmother. I was at school, I've known Kerry for 30 years. And there's a group of 5 of us girls that all been great friends, best of friends for 30 years. And we talk every day and we are the besties, you know. We're just we're life friends. And Kerry's daughter Brooke is my goddaughter. And Brooke and her sister Taya are coming to stay next week for I have no idea how long. Might be a few nights, might be a few weeks, might be till they go back to school in September. Because on Monday, London experienced just a crazy storm. And flash floods happened. And unfortunately, their basement flat got flooded with not only rainwater, such severe amounts of rainwater that they couldn't open the door to get out, and they needed to get out of the flat because sewage was pouring in through all the drains and all the toilets, coming up through the shower, the bath, the sink. It burst all the pipes under the sink. Just the force of this sewage that was spewing out. So their flat is completely trashed and they didn't have contents insurance. So although all of the structural work will all get fixed by the building's insurance, they've lost all their belongings. My goddaughter Brooke basically has the clothes that she was stood in, but they're no good because they got covered in effluents. Oh God, it's unbelievable. Bless them. So all friends are rallying around and donating what money they can, and they've got a GoFundMe account now. Actually, I'll put it down below because if anyone's got a spare quid and you don't know what to do with it, they'd know what to do with it. Yeah, so I've got Brooke and Taya coming next week for I don't know how long. So I don't know when I'll be getting back on the old vlog. I can't imagine it's going to stop me in my tracks much. I mean, what's 5 kids when you've already got 3? And they're not little. They're 12 and almost 14. And I think it would be really lovely to have some girls to hang out with. And, you know, they might just be interested in some of the things I'm interested in that the boys are not interested in. And also because they are not country mice, because they are city girls, they might just love being here in the countryside. And if they don't love it, at least when they return to London, they'll return with a spring in their step and gladness in their heart that they've got away from the boring countryside. So off I go to continue with my chores that I'm not going to grumble about, and get ready for a lovely, fun-filled, I'm sure, family weekend with Granny and Papa. I might film a bit because I know you lot love Granny and Papa. And Granny and Claire, when they get together, their laugh is brilliant. Absolutely so infectious. Anyway, I'm rattling on now, so I'll speak to you soon. Bye. You've got the best job, Andy. Look at these two clowns.
Hang on. Right, now you can go.
I don't know why I find it so funny. Bill, you look like you're going to a wedding.
Bill is so lovely.
No, I'm going to prom.
Oh, you're going to prom? Who are you going to prom with? Hang on a second.
Here, I'm going outside.
Smart.
But I'm not meant to have